The real suspect scrambled up and vanished into the crowd. But when the police arrived moments later, they saw only Issa on the ground, confused and wide-eyed. He didn't run, he didn't speak, he just froze. To them, that looked guilty. They shouted commands. "Get on the ground! Show me your hands!" Issa is 37 years old. He's tall, good-looking, with quiet eyes and a peaceful face. He doesn't speak, not because he won't, but because he can't. Issa is autistic, and his silence is part of who he is. But those who know him best say he's one of the gentlest souls they've ever met. Issa was born in Amman, Jordan. His mother was Jordanian, a woman of deep Christian faith and resilience. His father, a born-again Christian American, was working overseas when they met. Issa was their only son, and from the start they knew he was different. Delayed speech, sensitive to loud sounds, a unique way of seeing the world. But he smiled, he laughed, and he loved music. His parents loved him fiercely. At age 7, Issa and his family moved permanently to the United States. His father filed all the right paperwork, and Issa was issued a U.S. passport. He became a citizen through his father. His entire life from that point forward was in America. The schools that struggled to understand him, the local parks where he walked daily, the group homes that cared for him with quiet kindness. America was his home. He never went back to Jordan. Not once. Not for a visit. He couldn't remember much of it anyway. Just flashes of childhood, smells of spices in the air, and his grandmother's voice. But one day, that life came crashing down. Issa was spending the afternoon with his mother at the mall. It was one of their small routines. She liked to walk with him, arm in arm, pointing out decorations or small things that made him smile. Issa didn't speak, but he listened closely. He always felt safest when she was near. That day, she stopped to use the restroom. She asked him to sit on a bench just outside the entrance, where he always waited patiently. Issa nodded as he often did and sat quietly, hands folded, rocking gently in rhythm with the sounds of the mall. But in the span of those few minutes, everything changed. A man was running, fast. Shouts echoed behind him. Security guards chased close behind. The man rounded a corner and crashed into Issa, who had just stood up, startled by the noise. They both fell to the floor. The real suspect scrambled up and vanished into the crowd. But when the police arrived moments later, they saw only Issa on the ground, confused and wide-eyed. He didn't run, he didn't speak, he just froze. To them, that looked guilty. They shouted commands. "Get on the ground! Show me your hands!" But Issa didn't respond, not because he refused. He simply didn't process it. The noise, the lights, the tension, it overwhelmed him. He shut down. They tackled him. When Issa's mother stepped out of the restroom, the bench where she had left her son just minutes earlier was empty. At first, she wasn't alarmed. Maybe he had wandered a few steps. Maybe he was looking at something nearby. She called his name gently, then louder. She checked around the food court. Nothing. Then the panic hit. She started shouting, running in circles, calling for security. Shoppers stared. She didn't care. "Have you seen my son? Tall, quiet, autistic. He doesn't speak." She called her husband, breathless, shaking. Within minutes, he arrived and joined the search. Together, they scoured every hallway, every restroom, every store. They begged mall employees to check cameras. Finally, they reached the mall security office. The staff hesitated, then admitted that someone had been arrested earlier near the restroom wing. A man in a dark hoodie, matching Issa's description. But they weren't sure. The police had taken him hours ago. "Arrested?" his mother gasped. My son doesn't talk. He didn't do anything. Where did they take him?" But no one had a clear answer. They were told to try the city jail, then redirected to the sheriff's substation. No one could confirm anything. Hours passed. The parents kept calling, kept asking, kept hoping this was all a mistake. And it was. A terrible, devastating mistake. Meanwhile, Issa sat alone in a small, cold jail cell. No one explained anything. The fluorescent lights buzzed above him. The echo of metal doors slamming shut filled the air. Every noise startled him. Officers tried to question him. "What's your name? Where are you from? Why were you resisting arrest?" Issa didn't respond. He couldn't. He sat silently, hands folded in his lap, eyes wide. His breathing was shallow. He rocked slightly, overwhelmed by fear and sensory overload. They searched his pockets. No ID. The wallet he had was left in his mom's purse. One officer scanned his fingerprint record, but no name, and only said, "A foreign place of birth, Amman, Jordan," popped up in the system. Another officer made a call. ICE got involved. They entered the room like they were hunting someone dangerous. "Tell us your name. Say something," they demanded. "What's your immigration status? Why are you in this country?" Issa said nothing. He didn't even look up. He couldn't. To them, it was non-compliance, refusal to cooperate. They labeled him high risk and uncooperative. Hours later, ICE placed him in shackles and walked him to a white van. He didn't resist. He just went silent like he always had.